welcome to Positive Mental Attitude. My name is Nick, and at the end of August 2022, I had a stroke. I've made these videos to try and explain my experiences of having the stroke and my subsequent ongoing recovery. Today I want to talk about positive mental attitude, which is obviously where this channel ended up getting its name from. The British post-punk band Public Image Limited have a song called Rise, in which the lead vocalist John Lydon, formerly Johnny Rotten of the Sex Pistols, repeats the line, "Anger is an energy." And of course he's 100% right. No revolutions ever start because someone's feeling happy. They start because people get angry, and when you get lots of people feeling anger, it grows and grows and expands until it explodes and becomes a revolution. Well, of course, anger can well up within one person and can also explode. That's how you end up people just kicking off completely for no reason. It's because they built up to the point where they can no longer hold back the tide. And if anger is an energy, so is positivity. Now, I'm not talking about bouncing around the room like the fellow in the Lego movie shouting, "Everything is awesome," because it's not. We know it's not. Life can be horrible at times. And if you've watched any of my videos, you will have noticed I talk about balance a lot, because I truly believe the best thing we can have in life is balance. You know, the positivity and negativity, sour and sweet, anything like that, it works. If you balance, don't let things get too high or too low, then it's better for you. I know Tommy Tiernan, the Irish comedian, he talks about toxic positivity, or toxic optimism rather, in one of his shows. He goes on about going to America, like every taxi driver that you meet is writing a sitcom that's going to be syndicated and is going to make him a millionaire. Every waitress or busboy is going to be on Broadway or going to go to Hollywood. And every time you leave a shop, someone shouts, "Have a nice day." And he said, "Have a nice day" to an Irishman sounds like a threat. You know, I'll have whatever kind of day I want. And he mentioned toxic optimism, and I get that completely. You can't be too far one way or the other, otherwise it becomes negative again. But for me, while I was in the hospital, my positivity was based on an idea that things could be a lot worse. And if I think about that, I could be dead now. I'm in a hospital bed, I could be in a grave. Why wouldn't I be positive? Why wouldn't I see that as a second opportunity to change my lifestyle? To think more about where I am in life at the moment, where I'm headed, what I can do to make sure that I'm a better person, I'm a healthier person, I'm going to be around for my daughter for longer. What I can do to maybe help other people. All that positivity. And it worked as an energy for me, because there are times when you're lying in that bed and the physios come round and you might not be feeling at your best. You might be tired, you might not have slept well during the night. People are up shouting for nurses. There's machines beeping, there's loads of noise. You could have had someone come in on a new bed, which makes lots of noise as well. So you could be feeling a bit tired, a bit down. And when they come round saying, "Do you want physio?" lots of people would say no. And I forced myself. I forced that positivity in me, said, "These are giving you an opportunity to get better. Do you want this opportunity? Do it. Be positive. Get up. Do what they tell you to. If you're feeling tired, doesn't matter. Work your way through that tiredness, because at the end of it, you will gain the benefits." And that's what I did. And according to the physios and the healthcare assistants, I was quite a good person to have around. I was a good influence on the other, I'm going to call them inmates again, the other people on the ward. There's one person in particular who seemed a bit down and a bit needy, and everything was negative. And I just continued my little story about, they were 3 weeks behind me in terms of coming into the hospital, and their physio hadn't started until 3 weeks later than mine. And you could see them getting down because they couldn't do things that they thought they should be able to. And I'd been there. I told them this. So don't start getting down. Where you are now is exactly where I was 3 weeks ago. And look at me now. I'm standing up. I'm taking a few steps in the gym. Just give it some effort. Trust the process. Trust the people. Trust the physios and what they say, because they are absolute miracle workers. and you can do the same. There's no reason why you can't. And that seemed to hit a bit of a chord with at least one of them, because he seemed to change. I think he had one day where I've been speaking to him. I talked about this. I talked about, you won't believe how quickly you can move through the process as long as you put some effort in. I think that day was the first day they got him stood on his feet. And I think that must have been a bit of a sea change for him, where all of a sudden, all the positivity I've been talking about, he stood up. He hadn't been able to do it before, now he can. And that, I think, clicked. And he seems to change. His whole demeanour changed. His face changed. He seemed brighter. Didn't seem to be so annoyed in being in the hospital. He must have realised, this is where I am. There's no getting away from it. But if I keep on putting the effort in and work with the physios, then I'll be able to get up and walk more and more each time. So I was pleased when I heard about that. One of the healthcare assistants rather, said to me, I should spend more time in your company, because every time I do, I leave feeling happier, more upbeat, and just feeling better about myself. I thought it was a lovely thing for someone to say, and made me realise that maybe what I was doing, even if I didn't plan to do it, it was working. So I carried on with that, and doctors, physios, healthcare assistants all talked about what a good influence I was. So it wasn't just me thinking, yeah, I'm doing well here. They were seeing the same thing and feeling the same thing I was. So I was absolutely delighted with that. It's worked the same since I've been home, having to do my physio, having that positivity of, I'm really tired or my leg's sore and I still need to get up and do these exercises. My hand's really aching and I need to push through. I need to make sure I'm ticking off every day, ticking these boxes, and I've got to get up. Like today, it's not raining, I don't think. It doesn't look like it's raining, and it's quite bright even though it's starting to get later. So by the time I finish this, it'll be time for me to get out, get my walking stick, get my shoes on, and go for a wander. I'm going to keep on doing that. I'm going to try and go further each time. And if I can take off another little milestone. I reached the end of the street. I went round the corner. I can't walk around the block because I don't live on a block. It's a bit weird where I live, so it's a hell of a walk, just trying to get around in one sort of circle. But I will continue to do that. But for the benefit of balance, I also know not to get too carried away with things. It is genuinely, it's balance. And people, one thing I really, really hate is this, again, toxic optimism. That thing where people say to you, you can do anything you want to do, you can be anything you want to be. It's absolute rubbish, you can't. And this is something I've never ever said that to my daughter. I always say to her, you know, if I wanted to levitate, it doesn't matter how hard I try, I can't, because it's physically impossible. So don't tell people you can do whatever you want because they can't. I always say to my daughter, if you want to do something, give it 100%. Try as well as you can, because if you don't try, you will never achieve it. But if you do try, you'll never know how far you can go. And I think that's a better message to give people than go for it, you can do it. No. Let them know that if they don't make any attempt or any efforts, it just won't happen. But you never know. I think my dad said, one of the coaches he had used to say, if you aim for the ceiling, you'll hit halfway up the wall. If you aim for the stars, you'll go through the roof. I think that was quite a good way of putting it. So again, that's all I would ever say to people. It's that positivity. You don't need it to be crazy. You don't need to be full of like Tigger bouncing up and down constantly. Let it get to a point where you think, yeah, I'm safe with this. I know how positive to be. And if it's getting too much, just remember that little bit of negativity, how bad life can be. Balance them out and you'll always be good. That's sort of been my mantra since getting in hospital. Positivity has taken me to this point, from, I wouldn't say rock bottom, but not far off rock bottom. Not knowing what I was going to do, not knowing how long it was going to take, not knowing if I'd ever walk again. I mean, I'm still struggling with that arm. I can't move it much. It's getting there bit by bit, but it's still a struggle, but I can get up, I can walk. I had to push myself through that. I had to believe that it was going to happen. I had to trust in my physios, and I did. And now I can get up, I can walk. I've walked in here on my own. I can walk up the stairs and get a shower, which is a huge step. After having carers coming in and washing you with a sink, it's a massive thing to be able to go and do that. I can go out, I can go up my walking stick and do a little bit of a wander. Not far, but I can do a little bit of a wander. That's positivity, and it is the power of positivity. And again, I'll go back to something I mentioned in a previous video, I think. It's the analogy with going ice skating. If you believe that you're going to fall before you even get out there, the second you get on the ice, you're going to fall flat on your backside because you talked yourself into it. It's not good for you. If you at least tell yourself, if I put the effort in, there's a good chance I'm going to be able to get out there and walk. Or if you're in the hospital, there's a good chance I am going to walk out of here. I'm not going to get taken out in a wheelchair. I am going to walk from my bed. I'm going to wave to people. I'm going to thank the staff and wave to them on the way out. And I'm going to walk all the way. Then you stand a much better chance of doing it. So be positive, but don't go overboard. Be realistic as well. Keep the balance, yin, yang, all that stuff. And so thank you for listening. I hope some of this was of interest to you. And if it is, consider subscribing to the channel, hitting the like button, comment down below. If you've got any questions, put them in and I'll try and answer as quickly as possible. And don't forget, you only get one life. Don't throw it away.